Today is Easter Sunday, the third day after Jesus was crucified. He has risen. This is a quote that I love, and it symbolizes Easter a lot. The reason I am a Christian is because a man said he could raise himself from the dead, and he did it. Spoken by Keith Manier, lead pastor of Grace Fellowship in Ohio. Happy Easter, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. I just wanted to come on here and read to you the rest of the story of the Easter story. I read to you the Jesus crucifixion on Friday, and today is Easter Sunday. I know it's late, but today is Easter Sunday, and we are going to be reading John 20, starting in verse 1. So if you have a Bible, turn on or turn to John 20, starting in verse 1. Now, if you don't have a Bible, or if you're reading a different version, that's okay. My phone screen will be popped up on the side of the screen, and you can follow along that way, and you can also make sure that your translation is kind of the same. And I'll be going down and listing all the verses. So start off in verse 1, the resurrection. Now on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb early while it was still dark, and saw the stone had been taken away from the tomb. Verse 2. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Verse 3. So Peter went out with the other disciple, and they were going towards the tomb. Verse 4. Both of them were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. Verse 5. And stopping to look in, he saw the lining cloths there, lying there, but he did not go in. Verse 6. Then Simon Peter came following him and went into the tomb. He saw the lining cloth lying there. Verse 7. And the face cloth which had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the lining cloth, but folded up in a place by itself. Verse 8. Then the other disciple who had reached the tomb first also went in and saw and believed. Verse 9. For as yet they did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples went back to their house. So basically what's happening here is that Peter, and I think it was John, if I'm correct, the other disciple, they don't name who it is in ESV, but I'm pretty sure it's John. Josh, if you're watching, you can correct me on that. But Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that Jesus was gone, ran back to the town, or ran back to it was either the town or the village, I don't remember, but ran back to the town or village, saw Peter and John, if it's John, correct me on that, Josh, and told them, hey, Jesus is gone, you got to come see this. So they ran to the tomb. John got there first and saw that it was true. Jesus was gone. And Peter showed up, and they were like, what? How is this possible? Where is he? And what's interesting is that Keith Manier taught about this today. He explained to the disciples 3 times of the plan. One time in Matthew 17, one time in Matthew 20, and one time in Luke 24, I'm pretty sure. Or somewhere around there. I don't remember. Josh, correct me on that third one. And none of the disciples were like, you're crazy. And he even had the dinner with them, and the disciples still thought that they were crazy. So that's basically what was happening here. Now, Jesus appeared to Mary Magdalene, starting in verse 11. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb, and as she wept, she stood to look into the tomb, and she saw 2 angels in white sitting where the body of Jesus had lain, one at the head and one at the feet. Verse 13. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him. Verse 14, having said that, she turned around and saw Jesus standing, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Verse 15, Jesus said to her, woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you speaking? Or whom are you seeking? Sorry. Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I'll take him away. Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned and said to him in Armaka, or something like that, Robana, or however you pronounce that. I don't speak a foreign language, which means teacher. Verse 17, Jesus said to her, don't cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father, but I'm going to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to go. It says, go to my, sorry. I said, I'm going to brothers. It says, go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. Verse 18, Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, I have seen the Lord, and that he had said these things to her. So that's basically it. If I recommend reading a different version of the Bible, I recommend reading NIRV or NIVR or something like that. Because that's how I learned it. That's how I first heard it, was in NIRV or something like that. But basically what happened is that she was standing. Peter and John already left. Okay? Peter and John already left the tomb. Think about this. And Mary was the last one there. She was crying, and then she looks up one last time to see two angels. And the angels say, woman, why are you crying? Blah, 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 blah. She turns around. She sees a man who looks like Jesus, but she didn't think it was Jesus because she had tears in her eyes. And she barely even turned around to see who it was. So she didn't believe it was Jesus. But when the man said her name, she knew right away. And again, I'm going to quote Keith Menier on this. The reason I am a Christian, and the reason most Christians are Christians, is that they heard that a man say, I'm going to raise myself back from the dead. And he went and did it. That's a reason why most Christians are Christians. And that's why I recommend that if you believe this, if anybody ever asks you, yeah, I'm a Christian, or are you a Christian or something like that, that's the reason you should give. Either that or come up with something else. But yeah, today, Good Friday, and and Christmas are the three most important days in human history. The birth of Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, and the rising of Jesus. Sorry, my cousin's calling me. Happy Easter. I want to say that again. I know I don't look formative, but if you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I did the USC Ice Bucket Challenge again. And I did it in my clothes that I was wearing today. So, and I'm sorry this video, if it comes out on Monday, I apologize. I slept the whole day and we had a whole party here. We had a whole party here, and I got a little mad because I crashed my truck today. So, yeah. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And Josh, correct me on anything if I'm wrong on anything, because I know you're filming a video about this. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.